Thank you so much. I'm Kathryn Lopez from the National Review Institute in National Review, and thank you for being here. For those of you who don't know, Bill Buckley founded the National Review Institute as well as National Review Magazine, and the idea was to foster some of the ideas we're talking about in the magazine, and to sort of complement the magazine that he started in the 90s. But one of the great blessings that it's been for me, among other things, is I talk a lot about Bill Buckley and his faith. He died 10 years ago. 10 years ago in February, and so the National Review Institute just had a series of events talking about his life and partially his faith, and so that's one of the reasons that I thought we might do this foster care forum in concert with the prayer breakfast. I figured people from out of town, some of you are, would be able to come, and so one of the great blessings as well has been in recent years. I've written for 2 decades at National Review, written about pro-life issues, and a couple of years ago I started realizing, having a bit of an examination of conscience, in part as I was telling some people already this morning. Young people were coming to me and asking me, well, we're thinking about adopting, what should we do? And I don't claim to be an expert on much of anything, except I tend to know the experts. And so I start asking the people I think are experts, and they're telling me things like, well, tell them to hire a really good attorney because it's really bad out there. I'm thinking, I'm not telling the 25-year-old couple to hire a really good attorney, right? Adopting in the first place is a tremendous sacrifice. And so anyway, long story short, I just became aware of how little we talk about foster care and adoption, and how little we celebrate the birth moms who are heroes and have no idea that they're heroes, how little we celebrate the families who make sacrifices for joy, but they make sacrifices. And one thing, somebody who would like to be here, I know today, Kelly Rosati, who talks beautifully, a former colleague of Sharon Ford, one of our speakers, who talks beautifully about foster care. She was just making the point in a talk the other day, if you feel called to foster care and adoption, it can't be about you. It can't be about your fulfillment, because so many of these children who are in foster care are so empty, was the word she used. They're so filled with trauma is what they're filled with. And they need such healing. And so I think, and I found this in some conversations, I hope I'm not naive. I know Walter Olson from the Cato Institute is here and was just telling me that they're having an event. I think this can be a place of common ground for people on the right and the left, and social conservatives and libertarians, and so that's a little bit of some of what I hope we explore a little bit here and continue to explore. This is not a one-day event for the National Review Institute. And so the goal for today, and then we'll get to our panel, is both education, talking about some of the things that are being done and can be done, talking about people's personal experiences with foster care and adoption. And then 2, I hope, lighting a fire underneath all of us to do more. Not everyone is called to foster care and adoption in terms of adopting a child or being a foster family, but some of you are, some of us are. And so thinking about that more, thinking about the needs in our community more, but also everybody, I think, can walk away with some kind of to-do list. Whether it's something as simple as sharing on social media some of the articles. Lisa Wheeler has a piece on National Review today. Natalie Goodnow, one of our speakers, has a new paper at Heritage, and we'll have an interview up on National Review tomorrow about that. Elizabeth Kirk has a piece coming in. There are lots of things, focus on the family's resources, which Sharon Ford will talk about. But also, if there are families in your church, in your community, who are fostering or adopting, where can you be a support? So while we're talking about these things, those are some of the questions I think that we could start deliberating in our minds a little bit more. Now let's get on to our panel because we have some great speakers here. Thank you.